Let's get focused, people. Let's get focused. It's your boy Tone 202 coming at you one more game with another episode of the NFL is Fixed. And this isn't really me saying that the NFL is per se, like, I'm not trying to prove it's fixed in this conversation. I'm trying to talk about uh, just a very uh, poignant subject, which is substance abuse and how they're dealing with substance abuse. Roger Goodell, how he's dealing with substance abuse because there have been people who've been coming down with fines, and they've been like, you can get multiple fines, like Martavis Bryant. Martavis Bryant plays for the Steelers. Well, he did. And he's been, trying to get back in the game, basically back on board with the Steelers. And, the head coach, Tomlin, is like, yeah, we're trying to get him back. And one thing about Bryant is he's very effective. He's a very effective receiver when he's matched up with when they're side by side, him and Brown. So this is what I see coming up, because if him and Brown is on the other end receiving, what kind of receiver he is, and then they have who's that, Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, and of course Big Ben is healthy. And they got another, I think it's a tight end or something, that's out. But basically, if they bring back their full roster and everybody's healthy, all the big names come back, the Steelers can make a run for not only the playoffs, which they did last season. They went to the final four and lost against the Pats. But I believe that they can, go all the way. Now, back to substance abuse and Latavius Bryant. Let's see what they're doing with this guy. What's going to happen with him?
Martavis Bryant didn't play last year. What's his deal?
Martavis.
Is he coming back?
Well, he believes he is coming back. When you speak to people close to him, they are confident that in the near future he will get word that he has been reinstated to the NFL. Remember, he has been gone for a year, banishment after multiple violations of the NFL's substance abuse policy. All the material based on his appeal, the work he has been doing in rehab, in counseling, it is all in the hands of Commissioner Roger Goodell. Now he is simply awaiting word, and the Steelers are looking forward to his return as well.
I'm sorry, it's spelled Martavis Bryant. Martavis. I was saying Martavius. I'm sorry, Mr. Martavis. Nonetheless, M. Bryant. So there you have it with him. Now it's just, I find, here's my thing with substance abuse, because I was doing some looking around on the internet, and why Roger Goodell has been cracking down on people with substance abuse is because they want the head traumas to be less, because they've been getting sued pretty much for people who having concussions. But nonetheless, the game of football, you're going to have a concussion when two of the fastest, some of the fastest players on the field, or the strongest, players on the field, are coming at each other, and or you get broadsided. I mean, some of these linebackers, you get blindsided by, Ray Lewis. It's you can have a concussion, especially if you're a quarterback. You just don't see it. You get hit, by I don't know, Namdi Asamoah. I don't even think he's playing anymore. Neither is Ray Lewis. But nonetheless, just some of the names of the people I know that can hit. I mean, I can go all the way back to Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, and Dick Buckus. Those guys were cracking people. And the reason, and this is the reason why substance abuse is so important. Because it's not that to say that they weren't or wasn't using it back then. It's just the fact that a lot of the rules have changed because of Ham, Lambert, Joe Green, those guys were hitting you with everything they had. Like this one guy was like, I didn't even want to line up against Mean Joe Green because he'd take his arm and he'd just run it right up into your chest. And it was all legal. That's not a technical foul. That's football. That's why they called him Mean Joe Green. You do that swim move with somebody who's going down the field and you're behind them and pow. We even had a guy in my high school break another dude's collarbone like that, caught him from behind, bam. Nobody looked at the guy who did it and said, hey, that was unnecessary. This is in high school and I'm in high school. They looked at him and just like, damn, that was a crazy hit. You know what I'm saying? But the rules have changed now. And mainly, and this is the reason why substance abuse is a big deal. Now, you got people like Colin Kaepernick, who they came down against him because he was using some type of help, substance help. I forgot what it was called. And then he stopped using it. He lost all this muscle mass. And you see where his performance went. He's not as good. He's above average. He's above average, 60%, completion rate. But he's not the same back-to-back Super Bowl threat that he used to be. He's not going to Colin Kaepernick down the field like he used to be. He's not that dude anymore. And this is one reason why people are using these substances, because what it does is it enables you to, it's an anabolic, most of it's anabolic type of steroids. Some of it's over the counter. And one guy just got hit with he was taking over the counter, and I just did a video on him. He was taking over the counter, and it was called SARMs, and they're like, no, you can't take that. So, people are getting fined for that. So, what I'm saying is the evolution of the game has picked up to a dangerous speed where concussions is not the only concern anymore. Like if you looked at some of the hits within the last, just take 5 years, and how some of these people have got leveled you see that hit that Reggie Bush took when he was playing, for, St. Louis. It stopped him in his tracks. Reggie Bush is not a small person. It stopped him dead in his tracks and just, boom, he hit the ground. Deshaun Johnson took a hit that just, it was just, it just hurt to watch, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got the issue of the quarterbacks and how they're calling technical fouls on, people hitting the quarterback and the kickers and so on and so forth. So the evolution of the game has picked up to a dangerous speed. But here's the thing. They're not trying to stop all PEDs and SARMs and over-the-counter antibiotic enhancements. And they're not. It's an oxymoron in the game. It's a game within the game. It's a game of catch me if you can with the players. It's what it is. Because the players have to stay top notch. And I've read some stuff that some of the NFL players have said. They didn't say their name, but they were making confessions. They were just like, everybody has to use them. And if you don't use them, people look at you like, oh, this guy is a goody two-shoes. Basically, it's like on the police force, where you got all the police are doing bad and that one good cop comes in, nobody wants to work with them. That's what's happening in football. It's, nobody wants to be around the guy who's not taking the PEDs, who's not taking the SARMs, who's not taking the extra anabolic boost to make himself better, who's not getting in on the hit gate. Remember the hit gate that St. Louis was talking about? Or not St. Louis, Louisiana team out there. And they were talking about how they had contracts out on people. You're not going to perform at the perfection of the NFL's peak best. Like you have your best, and then you have the NFL's best. If you're an NFL player and you're not taking that extra help, and you go out against some of these monsters, you could lose your life. And I'm not even joking. Like these guys are moving so fast, they're so strong. These linemen, like there's a lineman, he was a black guy. This kid, and straight out of high school, he was bench pressing 500 something pounds. I mean, I think he's a defensive end. He was doing that in high school, bench pressing 500 like it was not. I mean, come on, people. You know what I'm saying? You go out there, you can literally. Like, remember when was it Warren Moon? I think it was. I think it was Warren. God rest his soul. I think Warren Moon tried to stop a score, and one of the defensive the defensive players, I forgot what team it was, picked Warren Moon up by his neck, had him in the air, and tossed him. I think it was Warren Moon. But nonetheless, it's just these guys, their strength is it's superhuman. It's not normal. So you have the problem that Goodell is trying to fix, but nonetheless, his nuts will be in a sling because you can't come out and come against. Goodell knows these people are using these drugs. But then you have the people who are excessive, and you have the people who are using it, and they're taking these tests. Look, the test they take is a standard test. Okay? You take the standard test, you fail the standard test, that's your fault. And I'm saying that because they even in the report that I was reading said those guys know how to get around that standard test. And when I say standard, everybody knows it's coming. Everybody know it's like an SAT to get into college. Everybody has to take it in high school. You know it's going to happen. You either gonna fail it or you're gonna do great at it or whatever you're gonna do with it, but you're gonna take it and there's gonna be some results. These guys know this standard test is coming, but they also know how to cheat. If you're excessive, and this is what I think happened to Martavis Bryant, Martavis, I think these guys who get caught are excessive users. I'm not sure, just guesstimating. And I think when you have excessive users, you have people who have to sit out for a year and don't know what their future is, just like this guy. But like I said, the whole system, it's rigged. It's rigged. Listen, it's rigged against the players. It is. It's like the cops who know who the bad guy is, and they're like, you do us more of a service if you were out on the street than in the jail. Why? Because because we know that you're going to go and hang around with the bad guys, and we're just going to follow you, and we're going to get all of you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we already know you're doing bad. We just want to we'll pick you up whenever we want to. I think this is how Goodell is operating. It's either you fail the standard test like an idiot, or I feel like giving you another test to see what you're doing. And then boom, all this stuff pops up. Hey, you're going to have to sit out for a year. Now, you can't tell me that isn't a way to fix a game. You can't tell me it ain't. And who's going to say what? You can't tell me that Goodell can't go up to Brady or not Brady, Edelman or Amidala or one of the key players who are still playing for Belichick because he switches them around so much. One of his key players and goes, you know what? You gotta take this so and so test today. Not the standard test because you already passed that one, but he just hits you with just a different test. And that test is definitely going to pull out SARMs. It's going to pull out any metabolic, anything. It's going to pull out anything. It doesn't care what you're using. And then they're going to take that and read it and say, this is what you've been using. You're going to have to sit out for a year or a game or 10 games. And you're going to get fined for all those games. You can't tell me that's not a way to fix a game. I'm telling you it is. If everybody's using it and you know everybody's using it, and and next thing you know, somebody gets caught. The only reason why they got caught is because one of three reasons. One, they were stupid and was excessive, and the standard test they couldn't pass that. Two, you chose to go ahead and test that person with a different test, and or three, they're hanging around Tiger Woods' doctor, so it's quite obvious what they were doing. The guy who is the dealer, this dude is giving away stuff, so they just followed the trail of drugs, and then boom, there you were. That's all I'm saying. The NFL is fixed, but a lot of these players they don't know that it's fixed against them. It's your boy Tone 202.